Hi, my name's Manda Johnson. I'm a group facilitator and somatic therapist and a student of Thomas Hübl since 2015. Thomas is the originator of global social witnessing. Global social witnessing is a practice that I really love. It's been completely instrumental in growing my relatedness to world events. I've been facilitating and teaching global social witnessing for 5 years. I'm the co-founder of worldwitnessing.org, an affiliate of the Pocket Project, and I'm co-creator of the webinar series, Witnessing the World in Me and Me in the World. I'm delighted to be introducing the topics today of self-regulation and titration. So events in the world can be really challenging to witness. They can trigger emotional responses in us, and particularly that can be overwhelming, and particularly when they touch into challenging experiences that relate to our own life, our own history. So self-regulation is a process that we use to consciously manage our bodily and emotional experience. By gaining access to recognize how to consciously be with our physical and emotional experience, we can relate to events in the world without becoming overwhelmed, leading us to turn away. We self-regulate to maintain and restore our nervous system into balance. So I'm going to identify a few really simple practices that assist us in our self-regulation. I personally use almost all of these at different times. And as I introduce them, you can see how they feel, different ones feel in your system. And it may be that you already practice some of these. So let's begin by turning our attention to the quality of our breath, simply noticing its rhythm through the inhalation and the exhalation. This focus invites us to connect to the most simple and basic movement. It sustains us in our bodies, but it's also been with us from the very beginning of our lives. We can adjust very slightly to actually take our breath into our bellies. We can allow, at the same time, we can allow our exhalation to become extended. And this sends a very simple message to a part of our nervous system that then gets the information that we're safe and can relax. So it's like a feedback mechanism that's built into our system. And then simply attending to our breath for a minute or two soothes our whole body and soothes our nervous system. So another simple practice is to ground ourselves by bringing our awareness to where we're located, whether that's sitting on a chair, or if we're standing on our feet. If we're sitting on a chair, we can drop our awareness into our sitting, feel the support of the chair beneath us. If we're standing, we can drop our weight down through our bones into our feet and feel the support of the earth beneath us. Either way, we can pay particular attention to the soles of our feet and the interface with where they meet the floor that's beneath our feet. And we can extend our sensing beyond the floor of the building that we're in, down into the earth that actually sits beneath any building or surface that we're standing on. As we attune to the earth, we can become just listening for the rhythm that the earth has. It's something a bit like our own heartbeat. We can also bring ourselves into the present moment by turning our attention to what's in our environment. We can notice the shape of things, the texture of things, and the colour. We can look around and see what we find familiar, comforting. Sometimes we can also do that by actually identifying objects that we find beautiful and just turning our attention to beauty in our environment, in the world, actually assists our nervous systems to feel at ease and relaxed. We can also regulate ourselves, turning our attention to people or environments that feel like resources to us. We can visualize being in the company of people that we love and trust, or we can simply feel and get a sense of what it's like being in their company. And the same is true for environments. We can just recall or visualize an environment that particularly feels like it's nourishing and a kind place for us to be. So contemplating and relating to places, people, things that remind us of beauty and ease our nervous system. So something very immediate that we can also do is we can cross our arms and just put our hands onto our upper arms and kind of hold ourselves as though we're giving ourselves a hug. We can take the same hands, we can put them on our thighs, massage our thighs, and really remind ourselves where we are in this moment in time. We can also, if we're sitting, we can, or even if we're standing, we can kind of rock our bodies, get the feeling and the sense of the movement of our spine, rocking or swaying, anything that feels comforting or that calms our nervous system. Often simply getting to our feet, standing over our feet, feeling our weight dropping down, is actually in itself regulating. From standing, we can take ourselves also into walking. We can imagine ourselves walking, or we can actually take ourselves outside and go for a walk. Walking is a very original movement, just like breathing. It's something that we've done for most of our lives. And its rhythm and its pacing are natural soothers of our system, helping us regulate and bringing balance. The same is true that for many people, just being in nature is something that helps us self-regulate and bring us into balance. So all of these are very simple practices that we can do in the moment, either when we're witnessing and we're witnessing something that we find a bit challenging and we want to feel a degree of resourcing alongside our witnessing of something that's moving us emotionally. And we can also use them as part of a process to regulate ourselves when an emotional experience feels more intense than we can regulate. So The process of titration is a very helpful process to self-regulate when we're witnessing events that evoke particularly strong emotions. Titration is a deliberate use of self-regulation, and it's a chosen process of limiting our exposure to extreme intensity to amounts that we find tolerable. When we experience a strong physical or emotional experience to a topic we're witnessing, through titration, we can consciously choose how much or for how long we expose ourselves to that content. We can step away through self-regulation and return when we feel more resourced. In short, when we titrate, we ensure that we respect the limits and needs of our own nervous system. It's worth noting that sometimes to titrate, it's really valuable to be in the company of another person or people. And sometimes accessing professional help is valuable while we build capacity with titrating our relatedness to things that we find traumatic. Ultimately, this work can expose us to different degrees and levels of our sensitivity. And it's really important that we know ways that assist us to self-regulate. By its nature, global social witnessing invites us to feel about topics and areas of life that we've commonly turned away from or numbed ourselves to. And knowing that we can regulate our inner experience acts to reassure us that we can open to challenging topics and feelings while having access to resourcing states and practices. So this video will be followed by a short video that is a practice to exercise the muscle of self-regulation. Thank you for being with me today, and I wish you well in your journey.